Hey there everyone, Pedro Bautista here again with Pedro Bautista Photography. Today I'm here to talk to you guys a bit about flash and the use of your flash, how to use your flash. If you guys have been keeping up with my Facebook page, you guys know that I haven't exactly been shooting anything. I've been mostly involved in video and yeah, so on Saturday the 9th of February I was given the chance to go and photograph to shoot a Lunar New Year festivity, I guess you could call it. Um, I was at my friend's temple. I was with my friend and another friend who was shooting along with me, and we were just there taking pictures. Um, it was pretty dark, in the temple. You can't really see here, but it was pretty dark. There wasn't too much light. There was just enough to shoot right, I guess you could say. And I just want to talk to you guys about how I use my flash and how, some little tips to help you guys out, because a lot of people tend to overcompensate their flash. Now, the one main thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the camera settings, not the flash settings. The flash settings matter, of course, yes, but sometimes what the settings you have in your camera matter a bit more than what you have on your flash. Now, on this image here, you can see it's perfectly exposed, right? There's nothing really wrong with it. So you might be asking yourself, why use flash? Well, I was at 800 ISO, f1.4, and 1/60th of a second. And like I said, this image is pretty well exposed. I actually had to bring the exposure down a tiny bit. And yeah, there really was no reason for me to use flash, but I still use it, and I'm going to tell you guys why. On this image here, the one that you guys saw previously, let me do this for you. Left side, right, this side right here, the left side is the original image, the non-edited image, and then on your right you have the final image, the one that's been edited already. Now, like I said, 800 ISO, same settings, 800 ISO, f1.4, 1/60th of a second. Now, if I'm properly exposed, right, I'm right field exposed, everything's perfect in the image without a flash, why do I need a flash? Well, the reason I use a flash was to kick that light in, right? As you can see, the background, you can tell by the background how perfectly exposed I am. Everything in the background is in there, right? There's nothing is darkened. Now, the reason I used the flash was to kick in the light onto the foreground, not the background. Whatever the light hits first is whatever, catches the light, not behind it. So, as you can see here, you have this here, right? This little area here that where you can see the flash hit, right? Same thing with the plants. You can tell here on this little plant here, you can tell that it caught some of the flash. So the flash is only supposed to hit the foreground, and then whatever's in the background doesn't receive any of the flash, or it receives a minimal amount of flash. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to separate the foreground from the background a bit more than I normally would be able to at f1.4. That's a really small aperture, so you're naturally going to be separating by a lot. But yeah, I just use a flash to give that extra kick of separation, and also to fill in these little creases of where light is absent. As you can see, let me show you guys another image where I didn't use a flash. Okay, this one. Okay, so at this one I was at 1600 ISO, f1.4, and now 1/50th of a second. So as you can see here, it seemed to be a bit darker. It was further away from the light. And once again, you can see the background, right? It's really, really well lit. The background is perfectly in there. And then the foreground, it's naturally going, since I was facing away from the light, the light was in front of me behind this line, the foreground is naturally going to be darker than the background. So here I could have used a flash, but it would have been not the greatest idea ever. There was people in front of me. They were rehearsing before the actual New Year celebration happened. So, there was people surrounding them, watching them practice. And you can tell here, I caught the shoulder of a person here. If I would have popped the flash, not only would have the line received it, but this shoulder would have caught some of that too. And that would have been the most pleasing thing ever, So sometimes you gotta know when to use a flash, when not to use a flash. And in this case, it wasn't the moment to use a flash. That's why I had to bump up my ISO and slow down my shutter speed by, a tiny bit, just to, get that extra bit of exposure in there. But then there, like I said, there are right times to use it, and this was the right time to use it. There was no one in front of me. I had, clear room. There just happened to be a plant that got in my way. But it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it being there. I got the lion in there, and that's what matters, right? So it's just that little tip, know when to use your flash. You don't have to overcompensate your flash. You don't have to, put full power on it to overcompensate, or, for the lack of light. Like I said, it wasn't, the brightest area here where I was shooting, but I did, I didn't push my flash to full power. I was still, I bumped up my camera settings to give me, that proper exposure, and then I used that flash to fill in some of that light. And that's all I use it for, and that's all you guys should be using it for. Don't try to overcompensate. One, your recycle time is gonna be horrible. You're pushing your flash, and yeah, just try not to push it. Keep it balanced. You're properly exposed in camera, and then just use a little bit of that fill flash to make sure that everything is there. And that's it, guys. Hope you guys learned a bit. The channel, I'm putting up a bit more content based on photography. I'm gonna try to start shooting a lot more. I'm gonna lay back from the video for a bit and try to get more into photography. And yeah, that's about it.